Hello, Free Rotation Nation. We are here today for another episode. I am Chris. We have Bobby.
Fuck you.
Angela.
Hello.
And Beckala.
I just wanted to yell bussy. I just don't know why.
I've infected y'all's brains with
It
the
is.
worms.
And today we're going to be talking about our favorite adaptations from books, movies,
Or even your least
Screen
favorite.
plays,
whatever you didn't like.
musicals.
Things you love that they have adapted into another form that you were either happy or pretty unhappy about.
I like the idea of this just being a ranting and a raving. Just ranting about what you hate.
Gen
raving
X's?
about...
Millennials.
Huh?
The ranting, the raving.
Night at the Roxbury. Great adaptation.
Yeah.
From what?
An SNL skit.
SNL skit.
Or skits.
To be fair, I think it's just an extended SNL skit if you think about it.
Yeah, it's just Chris Kattan having a job.
Hey, the man needed to make money.
It was literally, we need to employ this guy somehow
Yeah.
because nothing else is working.
Yeah.
Hey, she's right here. Don't you worry. She's being the smart one.
Calm down. I was just looking.
Chill your titties.
So,
Flopping around everywhere.
so we're going to get into the things we love and the things we hate about when someone else gets a hold of something that you hold dear and changes its form or gets most of the parts and pieces of it just completely wrong, and they keep the name, which really irks everybody.
Mm-hmm.
I told Angie, I think the one thing that adapted from book to movie correctly, like regardless, you can't argue it, is Lord of the Rings.
Yes.
Because the books were so freaking long.
Yeah.
I mean, other than my burning hatred of J.R.R. Tolkien's writing, which is boring as hell,
Yeah.
and the fact that I've never seen a whole Lord of the Rings movie, not a single one, all the way through, falling asleep on every single try.
That's fair.
Well, you say that, Becky, but I really had a problem with the fact that they excluded Tom Bombadil.
That's
Why
fair.
would you take out an entire, like, really important character?
I don't know. But
I do think we're going to get Bombadil in the Amazon series.
Oh, good.
Yeah, because it's way back and Bombadil was around forever.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
I think
He was a watcher.
Yeah.
Like, you can't take Tom Bombadil out.
I think, well, they also did away with the whole Gandalf being not human and stuff. So I think they did just to simplify and stuff. But
Yeah.
Yeah.
And regardless of what Becky said, there are plenty of books that have been converted to movies that are really, really good. Like
Yes.
The Green Mile was almost word for word perfect.
Yeah, I thought
and
Green Mile was the best one.
really filmed really well.
can't say it. Didn't read the book. Didn't watch the movie, so I don't know.
What
It
the
was,
fuck?
it was a series of books.
Or-
It wasn't just one.
Yeah, it's little serial novels.
It was great.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, because I bought all the serial novels from Omega
Yeah.
Books when they were
What
shutting
was there,
down.
like 8 of them? Just small?
Six?
Something like that. Yeah.
Maybe, but they were all. I mean, it was really well done. Like even the movie, and typically Stephen King things are not well done at all.
Yeah.
And it's just a. And again, this may be going back to 70s, 80s, 90s. They didn't really have the CGI capability to convert his books into movies real well.
Right.
So most of them looked pretty crappy, but some of them were done really well. Like I said, Green Mile, Shawshank Redemption, Pet Cemetery 1 was pretty
Yeah,
okay.
the original, not the sequel, not
Yeah.
the remake.
Carrie was done really well.
Yeah.
But then you get things like Silver Bullet and the Tommy Knockers, and
Right.
it's all just like, oh, this is not.
Which is
the
weird
Langolier.
about Silver Bullet because it was literally a screenplay.
Yeah.
Like, how do you fuck up a screenplay?
It's just unwatchable.
Yeah. And the,
So I read the screenplay.
Yeah. Go ahead,
I'm
sorry.
No, you go ahead.
No, you go ahead.
I already finished.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Christine,
That movie, I love that movie. It's super fucking good.
that's not true at all.
So good. No, I really like. John Carpenter did what he could with that script.
But that's what I'm saying. It's
Yeah.
like they took a lot of his movies, and more recently they've gotten better, and even to the point where there was the miniseries Storm of the Century, which was fine. Like it wasn't bad. It was done really well, but it was more because we have the capability to do a lot of the CGI
And
and,
Needful
stuff.
Things.
Yeah.
It was all right.
Yeah. That's something I'd really like them to give, make it into a mini series. The Needful Things.
I thought they did make Needful Things a miniseries.
They did.
Did they?
Yeah.
I thought it was a movie.
I mean, it's been both, but they did a miniseries. But you look at it, you look at like the 80s version versus the new version, and how much different they are, and how much say better, but closer to the book the new one
Yes,
is.
because they could.
Yeah, they had the ability.
Yeah.
They just did keep out the kid orgy, which I think is
Yeah.
a good
Yeah,
call.
oh, yeah, you
It's
can't-
probably very good.
You can't put that on fucking
Orgy,
screen.
orgy's a loose term for sexual assault, but
Yeah.
Yeah.
again, it
They
was
kind of ran a train on her, so.
she was on a 13-year-old.
Yeah.
Like you can't. You have to also remember, like, he wrote this back in the late 60s, early 70s.
when he was high.
Yeah.
And it wasn't as frowned upon then to talk
It was
about
just what it was.
children's sexuality.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't think the Shining movie was as good as the book. I'm just gonna put that out there. I just don't think it was as good. I think that the book itself. I know this
something
is a
out
hot
here?
take. Here's
It's
the
a
thing,
very
though.
hot
What
take.
made the book
Oh, hi.
scary was the psychological stuff that they were going through.
It's weird that
Yeah.
it's a wrong take. I don't know
Yeah,
about
it's
a
a-
hot
I don't know.
take.
take.
That was literally one of the most
Aggressive.
boring movies I ever watched. It was not scary. It did not have. The book scared me more. It was absolutely scarier.
So on Monday, I'm going to go get divorce papers drawn up.
That's a good call.
Yeah.
You've talked about it too. You think the book is not as good, or the movie is not as
No.
good as the book.
Becky, I said they are both exceptional.
Ugh,
Well, and I do enjoy the book for the more psychological
Yeah.
aspects of
But
it.
you can't
but the
portray a lot of
movie
that.
is really good.
Stanley,
Yeah.
Stanley,
I like the movie.
Stanley Kubrick did a really good job of portraying that whole. The entire movie feels like ominous and closing in on you.
Yeah.
Like you can't breathe the whole time. Like it's
I
really
think
nice.
It was good.
And the sequel was awesome too. Dr. Sleep movie was very good.
I did like Doctor Sleep, and I did like the book.
Doctor Sleep was really good.
Yeah, the movie is way
Yeah.
better than the book. Speaking of which.
I will tell. Yes, I will agree with that because I felt like the book. It was very overly. What's the word?
a lot of fluff.
Yeah, there's a lot of fluff to it, and it was a lot of side stories, and it condensed it a lot better to kind of keep the story going straight on.
And I don't know. I know you like Doctor Sleep a lot, Angie. Well, I know you liked. Well, I know you liked the book more because it was like it made him punished him more.
Yeah. And also the ending.
yeah.
Like, you did, although Stephen King said he like was there every step of the way and approved all of it. So
Go give the director's cut a watch. It's like an extra 40 minutes, but it
Oh,
yeah.
okay.
And it splits up the thing into chapters. Like actually, it's
Okay.
like chapter 1, chapter 2. It's really good.
That's cool.
Yeah. Oh, speaking of shitty King adaptations, the Langoliers, those fucking
Yeah.
like Pac-Man.
Oh,
Oh my
my
god,
God.
it's so fucking
That
bad.
were eating the past
Yeah,
slash
yeah.
day before.
So bad. Really cool concept, but that's one of those things I don't think you can adapt. Like without being.
Not only that, they really lacked the ability to adapt it in like '86 when they tried.
I don't know if you can even do it today. I think it's one of those things I think everyone has it in their head of how they look, and once you've adapted it, it's kind of
Well,
fucky.
one of my favorite, like they put out this screenplay like almost immediately after the book was well, you know I'm terrible with names. What was the one?
Huh?
It's where like they go to the old amusement park and the thing has woken up and it takes the skin of whoever it killed
The
last.
Outsider?
Yeah,
Outsider.
outsider. Yeah.
I love the book. I also love that movie. Like it was phenomenal.
I just felt like the series.
of them.
I liked the miniseries for it, or HBO. It was,
Yeah.
it was just like
It was a
two episodes
series.
too long. Like
Yeah.
I think they should like cut
Yeah.
down on 2 of them, but otherwise it was pretty good.
Yeah, I thought it was great. And
Yeah.
it also, to me, the screenplay adaptation gave the ending of it where they're fighting the thing a little bit more fear. Because in the book, it's like they get there and they kill it. It's like, oh,
Yeah.
well.
I think the thing with Stephen
Okay.
King, and I think he has said this before, sometimes he just doesn't know how to end a book. He just,
No, he said that in
Yeah.
his book on writing. He has a difficult time.
which is I think why he approved Dr. Sleep's ending, because it was a more logical sense of how he wanted the book, how it should have ended or whatever.
What?
I don't know.
No, it was a feel-good ending. It
Yeah.
shouldn't have been.
But after all that bullshit they've all been through, I feel like that they should have a feel-good ending.
They do that all the time with his movies, like with with Cujo, the kid doesn't die in the movie where he
Yeah.
dies from dehydration,
Right.
and that's fine because like again back then showing a kid because what came out in the 70s, early 80s.
Yeah, and he pretty much suffocated
Cujo
in a
had to
hot
be like
car.
81.
Yeah, putting even if it was like because I don't think even with the R rating back then, it's like, can you really show a kid dying from dehydration in a car over a time without it being like an X rating? Like,
Absolutely.
so nowadays they could
Because what angered her to the point
Yeah.
to go fuck that dog up.
yeah,
Because remember, she kind of felt sorry for it.
yeah,
Because it was rabid.
Yeah, he didn't know what he was doing.
yeah. It did suck.
And I felt really bad in the book when you get Cujo's perspective and he doesn't
Mm.
know why he's so thirsty and angry and he's a good boy.
Yeah.
Like Cujo's like, I'm a good boy, I'm a good dog. But I'm gonna go bite the shit out of somebody.
I'm not a good dog anymore.
Yeah.
That's one thing they really couldn't.
Yeah, you can't do that.
She can't do that. It'd be too cringe. I feel like too cringe.
But that being said, we're going to talk about my least favorite adaptation.
Yep.
Which was the Dark Tower,
There you go. Yep.
which I own everything from. I love the books. I have the graphic novels.
Yeah, I had the keynote books.
Everything. I love that whole sci-fi fantasy tale. It's pretty much the only fantasy thing I ever read because I don't get into most fantasy anything. But that whole story is insane and great. It's really well done to the point of even where Stephen King was talking about everything he wrote in between the original book, which is The Dark Tower, and the ending all his other stories were about the Dark Tower, whether he wanted to be or not. He just could not stop thinking about it. And it shows up in the books. Like, it's really well done. And then they made the Dark Tower movie, and it was not great.
Shit.
And I'll go and get into this right away because this is what everybody said, was they just cast Roland Deschain wrong. Should not have been Idris Elba, and realistically because he was a black guy. And a big part of from book 3 on is the fact that Roland is white, and a specific character, Susanna or Detta or Odetta, whatever you want to call her, she was raised in, the 40s and 50s South. I think she was from Mississippi.
Right.
She really hates white people.
Right. And like a big part of the arc is not only her overcoming this hatred as her disassociated self, but Roland actually taught her how to be a gunslinger.
Yeah.
Because she ruined him.
Yeah. It's just, and if you haven't read the books, basically she hates white people because her and her family were going to town one day, going to get on the train. A white guy, I think he hits her with a brick and then pushes her in front of the train. It cuts off her legs.
Like 10 or something. She was young.
She's young.
Wasn't that like low key confirmed to be like Flag or Mort? Wasn't that?
It is.
Okay. Yeah.
It's all Flag.
Yeah.
Or Martin or
Whatever.
Merlin or whatever you want to call him, Marathon. But it's a huge part of the story as to the fact that she really dislikes pretty much all white people when she is Detta. She has split personalities, but she really dislikes white people. And when Roland grabs her and takes her to Outworld or Otherworld or Midworld or whatever you want to call it, where they're at, she's not a fan of it at all. She's pretty sure he's kidnapped her to rape her and do terrible things to her. And that is a huge part of the story.
Because that happened to her as well, a
Yes.
sexual assault by a white man.
A white guy. So, like, you have this whole... And it's from book 3 on that this is kind of an important part of the story. The fact that she ends up marrying a white guy named Eddie, who's also one of the 3. That is really important to her becoming Susanna. Becoming who she's supposed to be.
Right. These are like the Trinity, the Father, Son,
Yeah.
Holy Ghost, like Trinity. I mean, not to that extent, but that's
the
essentially
story,
what they
yeah.
are. And, Eddie and Roland take turns carrying her on their back in a backpack. Like,
Because she
accustomed-
doesn't have legs.
And when she's Detta, she's like biting them, spitting them. Like, she is vicious because she hates white people.
Wasn't it in book 5, like she switches from Susanna to Detta when they're fighting the wolves?
Yes.
And she has like ape shit on them?
Yes.
Yes.
It's so good.
Wolves of the Kaya.
Yeah.
And that's why he was afraid to teach her how to be a gunslinger because Detta
she-
would also know.
Yeah, if she couldn't control it, she would kill them both really well.
And that was part of her hero's journey is could she resolve this conflict between her and Detta?
So that was a big part of the Dark Tower series. And they cast Idris Elba as the lead character, which it just can't be that way because it screws up the entire series. The only 2 people Idris Elba couldn't have been in the whole story were Roland and Eddie. Anybody else would have been fine. He could have been...
Could have been Father Callahan.
He could have been anybody else.
Actually, I think it would have been a really good Callahan.
Yeah,
he
it
could
would
play a
have been
torture
fine.
character.
He just could not be those 2 characters because they specifically have to be white for the story to take place.
Right.
Everybody else, it doesn't matter. Like, it's... Who cares? But
go ahead. Sorry.
the only way that works is if basically at that point you have to make Susanna white and her to hate black guys to make the story carry on kind of the same way. And you just can't do that.
You can't do that.
It's just not okay. Yeah. So they missed the mark by a long way. And again, the cinematography of the movie is not bad. When it shows Roland reload the sandalwood pistols, it's really cool, and he does it the way it's described in the book, which is interesting to see done on film. But the story can't continue because they ruined it.
Well,
and again,
right.
We've talked about this before. Is it's when you have to have people who are interested in adapting the story for what the story is versus it being a cash grab.
Yeah.
Right, people who understand what the story is. You probably had somebody who didn't even bother to read the series doing the casting.
well, and the argument
know.
they tried to give was it's in a world where Roland happens to be black, which is fine, only don't call it the Dark Tower series at that point. Just make your own thing up.
Yeah.
You can't say it's in a world that could exist in this universe. Well, that's true of any story you tell.
Well, and if you're gonna cut, I mean, you're cutting out an entire character arc by
They
just
cut
making
out
that one. And
everybody.
I get why in certain aspects it doesn't matter who you cast for certain characters. It shouldn't matter.
No.
You're not looking for it.
Whoever
But if-
does it the best.
yeah,
Right, and they wanted to make the Little Mermaid African American. Sure,
I don't
fine.
care.
She's
yeah,
fine.
yeah,
It doesn't affect the storyline.
Yeah.
yeah. But when you affect the entire purpose of one of the main characters is to overcome
Right.
Her
her hatred of
Susanna
white people.
was my favorite character, and you've taken her out. And Detta, and it's a story that we can all understand. How do you overcome not only a physical maiming, but a rape and a beat? So he beat her and tortured her and almost raped her to death. And Roland picks her up almost like a year after that. She is, and that's what causes her split.
She
Yeah.
really dislikes all white people, which is completely reasonable given her history.
Yeah, she tries to kill them multiple times. She causes Roland to lose his shooting hand, so he has to teach her and Eddie how to shoot. And
He has to learn how
Susanna's
to shoot left-handed.
right?
Yeah.
And it kind of implies in the book that she's the spirit. If you think of the Trinity, she's the spirit, and she's kind of better than them because she has some kind of psychic, emotional thing going on. Song of Susanna was really good.
It was.
Yeah.
All the books were really, really good. That's why I was super stoked when they said they were doing The Dark Tower. I saw them cast Matthew McConaughey as Flag or Martin
I actually really liked his
right away.
portrayal.
It's fine.
It's good.
It doesn't
Yeah.
matter. He can be damn near anybody. He did a good job with it. Idris Elba did a really good job as the gunslinger. The problem is that's not the story. He can't be that story.
I think it's become very obvious that certain I think book series in general, I think we'll get into Wheel of Time maybe as a side note to that, but with the success of Game of Thrones, it shows that TV can make book series into actual TV series without it having to be a movie that you condense into one thing and try and go.
Well, that's the thing is, and that's the other part is I was really hoping with The Dark Tower because you can't tell roughly 10,000 pages of story. You can't get Roland's backstory you get most of it in a movie.
Yeah.
I mean, that's kind of it.
I mean, the Crimson King arc could be a whole.
It is.
You know,
It has
one or
to be.
two, 'cause
Mordred, the demons, everything.
The train.
Blaine, yeah.
The oh god, that'd be. I would
Bad-
That
love
was
to
probably
see
the
that.
most.
The
terrifying thing
Badlands.
to me. Oh, the Badlands.
Oh, that fucking
All of it.
book. The choo choo. Oh, God.
So scary. I never saw
Blaine,
Thomas the Tank
train
Engine.
is a pain.
Yeah.
But I think that it just shows. I think the mark gets missed a lot with books. I think you can even say for stuff like Harry Potter. I read Harry Potter pretty much almost monthly at some points when I was a kid, and the movies did the best they could to adapt the book, but you lost so much in the book or when it was adapted to movie. And I think that you could easily make each book a season of what's going on.
Right, because the people who watched the movies would have never known the Dumbledore gay story.
Right.
So when they find out Dumbledore was gay, that wasn't something she just made up. That's literally in the book.
Well, and there's a ton of lore that gets cut out, things
Yeah.
about Hogwarts itself that you have to cut out for the sake of time.
Yeah.
And I think going into Wheel of Time, I think that was fine. Does that make sense? I did not read the series as passionately as you did, and I felt like it was just fine. But I mean, I think that's another one where you kind of see where they kind of took a cash grab and went with it and just kind of made it as it is.
Yeah.
I still haven't watched it yet. Is it that bad?
It's not bad. It's just not good.
And it might get better as it goes on. Who knows? They got renewed
Yeah.
for season 2 and 3.
Right,
Yeah.
and maybe if they replace Matt, it might actually get better.
Well, and I think there was a lot of you said, we've talked about it pretty extensively. Angie, she's a wealth of knowledge when it comes to Wheel of Time, and these books are dense.
Yes.
I made it to book, I think, 7? And I was like, I got to tap out. There's just way too much shit going on.
Yeah. To be fair, it's books 7, 8, and 9 where it's the same. It's the same battle war but from different perspectives.
Yeah, from different perspectives.
And there's a
yeah.
lot of braid
Well,
twirling in the book.
And then
so
I
much
think
padding.
the first book is a little hard. The book sets up for what the story is going to be. Because I think what consistently is that the 3rd, 4th, and 5th book are the best books in the series.
Yeah, I think so, because it's their hero's journey where they kind of reach themselves.
But I think that there was a lot of stuff it just felt like there was a lot of stuff that got missed in the series that just makes the book better in general, enhances it. And I get it, it's a lot, but they only did 8 episodes for it. I feel like you could have easily done 12 episodes
I
and
think
called
it's
it.
rushed. I don't care that the, because the races have nothing to do with storyline. I don't care that they
Yeah, it doesn't matter.
play with race. I really don't care. That's not what bothered me. What bothered me is that there's a character who is he's internally, he's like one of those, he's got a lot of internal struggle and pain, but outwardly he's always a jokester. Like, he's known as the jokester, the trickster. He's a bard, essentially. And he plays dice, and he's always he's very good-natured. And they made him this morose, brooding
Motherfucker, yep.
yeah.
But it doesn't work.
No.
It does not work.
Yeah, I heard about Matt, and it wasn't great.
Oh,
I'm like,
it was awful.
because his character arc's so fucking good. in the
Right?
books.
And you have ruined that character.
Did it get to the point where he gets like infected and stuff in season?
Yeah,
okay.
they rushed it. They had him infected by like episode 2.
Jesus,
Yeah.
is he cured by the end of the fucking first season too?
Yeah.
But he's still all
Jesus.
like emo. He's
I
like an
can't-
emo kid.
He never was a jokester. He was kind of pathetic.
Yeah. 'Cause
They
I
made him
remember- yeah.
really like drama-ridden, pathetic, angsty. And he never outwardly portrayed
No,
the
it's
pain
all
he felt
internal,
inside. Yeah. That's what made him so awesome. Like, Perrin's always a sob story.
Mm-hmm.
Like, he's always down on himself and feeling bad. But Matt had the worst of all of them. And you would never know it.
How did they do with when it's him and when it's Rand and Matt running, like that whole section in the Eye of the World?
It had maybe like 20 minutes.
It was
Oh,
not
that's
very
such a
good.
good
That was,
part
I
in the
will say,
book.
that
It's
part
so
I was
scary.
really sad about because I love Tom. I think he's a very important character for later in the books. But they feel like they just like, hey, here's Tom. By the way, he's gone now. Okay, bye.
Tom.
Bye, Tom. It's like
Yeah.
you can't rush these characters that are going to be important down the line.
And I love the Ladala beans. I do. And so there's the character called the Emerlin Swan Sanche in Moraine, and the book heavily implies a relationship, and he ends up writing a prequel where he confirms they were in a, but this is like after book 5 or 6 he
Yeah.
writes the prequel where he confirms, yes, they were in a relationship. And the series has them have like really intense, Ladala bean sex.
Nice.
Whereas the book implied it. Yeah, it was great to watch, but
It's not how it's supposed to be.
know what I'm watching when I get home.
Again, I've never read The Wheel of Time and I haven't watched it, but it seems like after the success of Game of Thrones and then the epic failure of the last season of Game of Thrones, you would think these people would pay attention and be like, hey, if we don't do this the right way, people are going to kind of take
Well, and
notice and be pissed off.
The problem is, I don't know if it's like it's a chicken or egg thing. Like, my thing is, I feel like the people who did Wheel of Time saw the cash grab that, because Wheel of Time has always been the antithesis to Song of Ice and Fire. If you ever go to like Dragon Con, they always talk about like a Song of Ice and Fire versus Wheel of Time, because they're dense books in general with different fantasy tropes in them. But you see Wheel of Time, you need somebody who, and I think I don't even know if Brandon Sanderson was really involved, but Brandon Sanderson is the only person who had something to do with the Wheel of Time that was still alive. Robert Jordan died. So
so Brandon Sanderson stepped in to finish book 12 and write book 13. But Robert Jordan had his wife. He had a writing room, and the boards were full of stories. So he just followed the outlines.
Yeah, but you can take and my
He did
thing
an
is
okay job.
when you look at the new Star Boba Fett, the child, all that, that's Jon Favreau. He took up the reins because he loved it and knew the story.
Well, that's what I was going to say, is you have to have somebody take the story up who
Yeah,
loves the story.
That's the thing is and you wouldn't think Jon Favreau would be that good at this, but he's fucking insane
He's really
at
good.
it.
Well, it's like the
And
guy
it's
who
not-
wanted to play The Witcher because he loved it.
Oh,
Henry
yeah,
Cavill.
Henry Cavill.
Yeah, it doesn't feel like a cash grab at that point.
No.
Even the first 5 seasons of Game of Thrones did not feel like a cash grab.
I also think that was attributed to the fact that George R. R. Martin was involved with it. And yes, he was involved with the ending part of it, but I don't think George R. R. Martin knew what the fuck he was talking about when he got to the books that he had written. Because, I mean, he always says, there's something in the works. I have a draft, blah, blah, blah. But it's pretty much confirmed at this point. He just doesn't know how to end his books.
Yeah.
He just doesn't.
They just keep going.
This is one of those situations where I feel like Brandon Sanderson should just step in and finish the books. Just say you're fucking done with it and be like, I need somebody with new ideas. Brandon Sanderson can pop a book out in a month and be done.
Yeah, somebody that loves and knows the story.
Yes.
Unfortunately, Martin has said if I die and the books aren't done, no one's doing
That's
it.
just
Yeah.
where it ends.
Yeah.
Piece of
Yeah.
shit.
Because
And
he
he
doesn't
is
have
not a
any
healthy
notes.
looking individual.
Yeah, and he has no notes whatsoever regarding his stories. And I think this is sort of my thing with it. Like, we talked about Arcane. which was a League of Legends adaptation to a cartoon, and then Legend of Vox Machina just came out, which is the adaptation of the whole Dungeons and Dragons Critical Role thing. And in those series, like, they're doing so well, and people love them so much because the people who created them are doing the creation of it. So you have the entire, like, all of the executive producers for Legend of Vox Machina are literally the 8 players in Matthew Mercer. They literally took their story and converted it and said, these are the people we want involved with it.
Yeah, so they filled in backstory that made sense.
Yeah. And
But it's people that love the story.
yes, and it's
Like-
their story.
Like The Witcher with Henry Cavill.
Yeah.
I mean, they said that he'll come up and be like, actually, you know, Geralt would have said this, and he says this in the video game, in the books, so we should probably do this.
Yeah, that's awesome.
And
But
The
that's
Witcher's
who
been
you need.
adapted twice. It was
Yeah.
books to video game to
and there was
screen.
like I think there was like a Norwegian show that was The Witcher.
Yeah, it was good. Like, they were all good.
But I think that's it. Always comes down to if you have to have somebody who loves your the series or whatever you're adapting it to make it good. Because otherwise, I mean,
Yeah.
if you take, like, if I tried to adapt Dark Tower, I don't know anything about Dark Tower. I would just go with, like, let me Wikipedia
You'd look
favorite
at the-
parts.
Yeah, they could have
The
hired me and,
synopsis on the back of the book.
Yeah.
me and Angie, and we would have at least got it right.
Yeah.
It may not have been cinematically brilliant,
Yeah.
but the story would have been
It would
good.
have been good
Well,
or
it's
bad.
the same thing. Like, if you like talking about like the Legend of Vox Machina, I wouldn't hand you Legend of Vox Machina and say, "Hey, adapt hundreds of hours of Dungeons
Or
and Dragons."
even to me, who knows kind of what it was about, because I watched a little bit with you and you would tell me about it. That's what I feel like. I knew the storyline because you told it to me, but
Yeah.
I didn't know the storyline. So if I were to adapt it, I would have missed all these wonderful things.
Yeah.
If I don't know anything about the show, can I watch it?
Yes.
Yeah,
Okay.
absolutely.
It's like an adaptation of the first whatever.
So what they did is they
Pull my
took
motherfucking beans.
oh my god, they took the first campaign and they're
Yeah.
adapting the arcs of it. But what
Okay.
they're doing is they're going back and cutting, like, you know, the D&D filler.
Oh, yeah,
and
yeah.
making it so new watchers can kind of follow the story.
Oh, cool.
And old watchers kind of see, like, okay, this is what it would have looked like if this had happened in the actual thing. And I mean, I'm very biased, but it has 100% on Rotten Tomatoes. And they literally everybody has said, like, you can tell these people love what they did. And they wanted to make sure it was loved by everybody else. It was the #1 Kickstarter of all time.
Holy
Because
shit.
initially it was going to be like a 2-part episode. And then Amazon Prime stepped in and said, hey, we'll do 2 seasons of it. We'll pay for the rest of it if y'all want to do an entire series. And they were like, say less, sister.
Say less. Wait, my least favorite adaptation, and this is going to sound weird, but I love the Broadway musical Cats.
Oh, God.
Oh, the movie.
Yeah.
Did not watch the movie. It looked atrocious.
Some things should
Cats
just
have buttholes.
be left to the imagination. Like, legit. Like, it's like, you know, you have a leap of imagination in the musical and stuff that the live action kind of takes away from you, and you're just like, oh, that is not okay. That is creepy as fuck.
Listen, I need the cat's butthole cut now.
There's like entire like hour-long like essays on YouTube about why Cats the musical was so bad, and not even just like the fact that like some people would have paws and tails and the others would just have hands. Like, they didn't even fix that. Like, it didn't make sense. It was like you took something that is so beloved and like you can like immerse yourself in it when you're in a musical situation, and then tried to make it to a movie. It just doesn't fucking work. It's
Yeah, but
something can't translate.
It's also when you're watching like a musical, you understand there are limitations, and you have to use
Yes.
your imagination.
It fills in.
When you watch a movie, you're like, okay, they had the ability to fix this. They
Yeah.
just fucking didn't.
They just decided, it's not important. But I like the adaptations, like The Taming of the Shrew to the 10 Things I Hate About You.
Yes.
I like those types of
Yeah.
adaptations.
Oh, Brother, Where Art Thou from
Yeah.
the Odyssey.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I mean, those
So
are my
good.
favorites.
Clueless.
So
Right. What did...
Clueless was Emma.
Okay.
Emma.
Oh, gotcha. Yeah, that's not something I...
You wouldn't have read Jane Austen, but it was a great movie. If
Well,
you didn't
yeah.
have any idea what Emma was, it was like,
You
this
still-
movie is hilarious.
Like, I love Clueless. I had no idea it was Emma.
Yeah.
Also, Alicia Silverstone's a badass. Don't give a
She
fuck how old she
totally
is. Just
is.
throwing that out there.
She totally
She's
is.
hot.
I think it's like, and I think like we look at it now, especially with adaptations, we don't consider like the Marvel Cinematic Universe adaptations. Like they're sit on their own like
So
realm of stuff at
You
this
can
point.
even with those, you can tell like with the Marvel and DC stuff, like the Green Lantern, the old school Punishers. Like, you can tell the ones that were just cash grabs where people didn't give two shits about any of it. Versus like Deadpool, where everybody involved was like, we're doing this the right way or not at all.
Right.
Yeah. And sure, some people aren't going to like what Deadpool actually is, but this is what Deadpool is.
This is who he was supposed to be the whole time.
Yeah.
Poor Ryan Reynolds, because he played the Deadpool he played Deadpool, quote unquote, in that Wolverine movie. Yeah. And it clearly did not translate. And he was just like, I just want to be like real Deadpool. Like real Deadpool. At the
end of the real Deadpool, when he goes and visits himself and he punches himself out and he's like, no, you'll thank me later. Don't do it. Don't do it.
But no, that's like, but you can tell even with those, the ones that were just cash grabs versus we really care about the storyline.
Yeah.
Like the Dark Phoenix. Come on. That was horrible.
Adapted it twice and you still fucked it up.
And like, that's the thing is like, Jean Grey / Phoenix / whatever was one of my favorite X-Men characters ever. It was like her and Gambit, and they fucked them both up. And
both
I'm like,
of them.
What are you people doing?
Yeah.
Like, they kind of got Beast most of the way right. Like, most of them they got pretty well. Nightcrawler. But they're all like side characters versus paying attention to who they're supposed to be. And it's like, what are you doing,
did
Phoenix?
Really well with Mystique, who is like a very complicated character. Yeah. You can't get Jean Grey and Phoenix right.
I think that's why
Phoenix is so huge.
But that's why
that storyline.
She's the most powerful anything in the universe.
Well, I think that's why you see now like Disney is kind of absorbing those Marvel characters, because even though like it's a very generic storyline, they know how to kind of like appeal to the fanboys of these characters while keeping it like for the general population.
I think they just hire people that know what the hell they're doing.
True. And I agree with that. Like you can really tell.
They hired Jon Favreau and let him do his thing because he cares about the story.
Yeah. No, I agree with that. Like, it's just it's so frustrating when you get like the notification, hey, this is being made into a book or a movie or a TV series, and all you sit around is like, don't fuck it up. Don't fuck it up. Don't fuck it up.
Saw yesterday they're making a Halo series.
Yeah, Paramount Plus. It's going to be garbage.
I watched the trailer for it and it looks so good. And I was like, please don't fuck this up.
I know.
I love Halo as a franchise.
The books are great. Like the Fall of Regions, the books are
so much.
I'm just like, no, faith.
And I'm like, please don't fuck this up. Please don't fuck this up. And it had Cortana. Like, they did a good job with the intro. But I'm just horrified that it's going to be bad.
Oh, yeah, I've seen this trailer. Yeah. It's talking about how the Halo has... Oh, yeah, it did look good. It did look really good.
I don't have faith in video game adaptations
There was a long time I was... Well, okay,
They've done Halo in the past, too, right?
They
did a cartoon.
No, they did a live action. It was... They did two.
It was not great.
It was not. It was fine.
I was going to say, like...
It's fine.
It was a machinima show.
Red vs. Blue was better.
RVB is the best. Yes. Rooster Teeth puts out quality work.
I was going to say, I think the only... I would say the only video game adaptation people have said as of late, because you look at Resident Evil. Like, Resident Evil is just whatever it is. It's whatever they feel like making that day.
To me, that's just a movie franchise and a game franchise of the same
They were talking, and there was like a hot minute they were talking about Mass Effect and Dragon Age being like an actual like live action thing, which I would be totally down for, but I know you could screw it up real hard.
I think it should be a series, right?
And the thing
like
about
a TV
those
series.
games, though, they pretty much had their movie in the game.
Yeah.
With the movie sequences, so you'd fuck it up if you didn't just put those together.
But I would say, like, Arcane was a pretty good adaptation of a video game. But that's because Riot in-house made that. Like, they're like, I want a TV series about these characters. Here you go.
Yeah,
like,
again, they're hiring people that actually know the stories from people that probably designed most of the stories.
Well, Bobby, you had a...
Well, I have two things.
Yeah.
I have two things. I'm going to bring up a book. Both are from novel to film. One's awful, not awful, but it's really bad, and the other one where the movie is strictly better. So I'm gonna do the one that's strictly better. It is the adaptation of The Godfather.
I have heard that.
So I watched the movie years ago. Like I'm 28 now. Like when I was 18, loved the movie. Like, I want to read the book. Oh my god, the book is not great.
It's boring.
It talks a lot about penises. It's a lot of talking about
It's very like in the closet.
Yeah.
The movie though, especially the first. God, that fucking at the wedding scene. Perfect. It's so good. It's so very good. Very good. It's a gabagool. But yeah. But no, that's one where the movie is just strictly better than the book. It took the important aspects, cut out all the penis stuff, cut out all the boring shit, and gave flesh out characters, and it's very
Yeah.
good. It's very long though. It's like a 3-hour movie, but it's worth
it. You
oh,
don't even
yeah.
know it's 3 hours.
Listen, Titanic was a great adaptation of the real story too.
Hey yo.
Ugh.
It happened exactly as it happened, right?
Ugh.
But going on to when you fuck up multiple
times.
When adapting I Am Legend, you've had Omega Man, Last Man on Earth, and then with the Will Smith version, and then another Omega Man slightly
back again.
Yeah, back, and it's like, how do you fuck up so?
Yeah,
it's like it's wild because like and they're all very distinctly weird. Like with the adaptations, like some of them, the closest is actually probably the Will Smith version with like some things, with him being by himself and stuff. Like Last Man on Earth, or no, it's Omega Man with Steve. It's not Steve McQueen, is it? I think it's Steve McQueen.
It is.
Yeah, where he's dealing with like a fucking bunch of like mutant like hillbillies and stuff. Like, I'm like, this is fucking on vampires. Like it's just wild. It is like you go off the rails completely with all the adaptations. And the Will Smith movie is a good movie on its own.
Yeah, it doesn't have to be that story.
Just don't make it I Am Legend. Make it its own thing. Because like the I Am Legend IP isn't that well known anymore. Just make it its own fucking thing.
Standalone.
Yeah, just make it its own thing, and it's a good movie. But
Or like make I Am Legend as what I Am Legend is supposed to be.
yeah,
which was a phenomenal story.
Yeah,
It was good.
Yeah, just make it a miniseries. Make it a 5-part miniseries.
Yeah.
You're good. On Netflix, somebody adapt it, please. It doesn't need a big budget either. It really doesn't need that big of a budget.
No, it
doesn't. Give it like maybe $500,000 an episode. There's two,
Yeah.
like maybe so you maybe spend like $3 million at most.
None of that. Your lighting doesn't even have to be good because most of it can happen in really dark conditions.
Exactly.
No,
Dark,
yeah.
dim,
Dark dim. You'll need like a handful.
apocalyptic. Just
What are
go to
basically
Detroit.
vampires instead of
You
zombies.
need Robert's house.
Yeah.
You need like dilapidated cities and stuff. And then you need when they go capture him at the end. You need that. And
Yeah,
that's
come
really
to Sonoya and just film where the
it's super
Walking Dead
do
did.
it.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And-
you've got your walled city.
Your special effects makeup is just basically pale zombie bald.
That's it.
Because
Yeah,
But they're vampires, like the end.
Because
Yeah.
in the book, he describes the vampires. They still look like people. It's not like
and they still act like
Yeah.
people.
They're not
they
rabid, they're just-
are vampires.
Yeah.
It's very interesting,
Yeah.
and I love in the book like how they like kind of rationalize the tropes with like the stake. It's not the stake itself that's killing the vampire; it's the bacteria and stuff entering.
and their
when they
body
puncture.
can't fight it off anymore.
Because their immune system's done, and then it deals with like, and then also deals with the whole trope of like crucifix,
Fucky
fucky wucky.
Wucky.
You made a fucky wucky and went up in the forever box. You never heard that? Fucky wucky? Yeah, it's fine. It's like timey-wimey. It's fucky wucky, though. It's I like it. All right. Don't fucking
So talking about I Am
yeah,
Legend.
talking about I Am Legend, cunt muffin Chris. I'm going to fucking...
The religious trope.
Yeah, the religious trope. That's it.
Yeah.
Sorry. ADHD.
It's fine. We got a little fucky wucky on it.
Hey, yo. Yeah. Anyway, so like in like Bram Stoker's Dracula, it's like crucifix, scare away vampires. What's really cool in the I Am Legend is since the vampires retain their personalities and such, so like one of Robert's neighbors was Jewish. So Robert, after he's gathered his courage, he's like whips out the fucking Torah in front of him, and the fucking vampire loses his mind and runs off. It's really cool and does stuff like that. Just little things. It doesn't have to be like massive change, but little things like that. It's really cool. And then in like the first half of the book is Robert slowly going insane because the vampires are outside his house at night taunting the whole time.
Yeah.
He's alone.
He's the last person.
He's the last person on Earth, so he's slowly going insane. And at one point, he almost like just throws open the door and runs out. Like, and then that's how the first part ends, and it's really cool. And then at the second part, it's like he's soundproof his house, so he's fine now.
Well, and then what Bobby we were talking about at the end of the book, when they capture him and they parade him out, and he realizes like this is a community of people. He's their monster, their boogeyman. He's the legend.
He's the one that's been killing them.
Yeah.
Right. And then he realizes, oh, I'm the thing that doesn't belong in this world anymore. I'm legend.
And the girl said, "Hey, go run," because the one we slept with turns out is actually a vampire, and she's like, "You need to go. Like, look, like I'll hold him off as long as I can. Go into the mountains." And he's like, "Nah." That's the only thing I didn't like about the book was like he just like doesn't, and I'm like, you'd think either he's given up or it's
He's
like
just tired of being alone. I think he realizes that he's the thing that doesn't belong in the world anymore.
The world has evolved, and I'm the last.
Yeah.
I'm the last bit of it.
I'm the legend. I'm the last man.
It's so good. Oh,
Like it's so good, and you just completely
so much story in 150 pages,
Yeah.
and it's fucking perfect.
But
That's
it
my favorite
doesn't
book of all
have
time.
That good. You know, we were talking about Stephen King and all the bad adaptations, but there's one author I feel like every movie has been fantastic, and that's John Grisham.
Yeah.
Oh,
pretty
yeah,
much.
Adaptations of his books to movies.
At
I
least
mean,
decent. I mean,
Yeah.
I can't think of a
I
bad
think it
one
comes
off my
down
head,
to the
right?
fact that it's more realistic because John Grisham's books are
Yeah.
just about like
They're set in court.
some sort of justice.
Yeah.
Yeah. You can really, I mean, you can't. I mean, I guess you could fuck up a
you could.
courtroom.
You can't handle the. Sorry. Anyway,
well, To Kill a Mockingbird was really good too.
Oh, I love To Kill a Mockingbird. Like, but and I feel like
that's
that.
not really John Grisham.
Yeah.
Just throw that out there. That's a
They-
different author.
They talked
No,
about
talking about courtroom dramas,
Oh.
y'all. Calm down.
They talked
I
about-
really like 12 Angry Men. John Grisham really goes back, huh?
You know what
I
my
really
favorite
did,
John
though.
Grisham novel is? Law and Order SVU.
Perfect.
They talked about remaking To Kill a Mockingbird a couple years ago. I'm like, you better goddamn not. Gregory Peckton
You can't.
he's
There's
spitting
just
in his
some, and I mean,
grave.
we've talked about this before. Like, there are just some things that you leave alone. Like, it was made. It was good. You don't have to remake everything.
Right, it's classic.
It's a classic.
Leave it alone.
Thank God. What's his face?
Boo Radley.
No. I'm on. No, Boo Bradley is good. No, I'm talking about who made Zemeckis. He made Back to the Future, correct?
Yeah.
He said, "Yeah, I'm not selling the rights. Fuck it.
Yeah, I don't blame
I'm gonna
you.
hold on to this shit till I die."
I would say, like, I am. Okay. I know you guys love Stephen King. Like, I like Stephen King.
Yeah, he's daddy.
But I really like his son's novel.
Oh yeah, Joe Hill.
Hill's.
He's very good.
But
yeah, Horns was good.
Well, my favorite book is Heart Shaped Box. Like,
Ooh, I thought book is fuck.
it was so good, but they haven't made any adaptation. They've done Horns, they've done Nosferatu, and I feel like they did another one of his.
They're doing the Fire one soon. That's
the
in
Fireman,
production.
which was really good too. That book was really good.
It's in production right
Yeah,
now.
but I always love to see Heart Shaped Box. I feel like that would be something you could adapt really well because it's just a creepy ass story. Like, it's not like.
I loaned my copy to Bobby and I haven't gotten it back.
It's on my bookshelf. Okay, I'm
It's,
sorry.
It's mine now.
No,
is
no,
what
no,
he's
no.
saying. It's
No,
on
no,
It
no.
was
my
like
it-
3 years ago at this point.
Yeah, I mean, no, I've really got the 3 books you let me borrow for the cruise. They're on my bookshelf. They're just like, they're not like, they're not on with the rest of my books. They're separated. So
You,
I've got
you,
them.
you don't have to explain to me because I have stuff from people I borrowed. Like
I bought
Fair.
7 copies
years
of
ago.
Mists of Avalon for Angie, and
I've lost them all, or ruined
yeah,
them.
I'm
in
pretty
some
sure
way.
that was also the 3rd copy of Heart
Isn't like
Shaped
the author
Box.
like a fucking like homophobe or transphobe? or
No,
something?
she was the one. Her husband was
Pedophile.
molesting.
Oh,
kids.
even
Yeah.
worse! Holy shit!
Yeah, that really sucked when that came out. I'm like, that's my favorite book of all time.
Yeah, my rule with loaning people books is it's theirs. I don't expect to ever get it
Yeah.
back.
That's why, like, half
It's a
of
book.
my like last day, like, what was it, the last night on Earth or whatever, the book, that RPG game. I'll never get those books back. I don't know what happened to them.
I don't either.
We had the full set, and everybody wanted to run a different one. So like Zombies went to Moreland, Jake took
Think Apocalypse.
the Apocalypse, and Scoob took something else.
Some of the food.
We'll never get them back.
Sorry, that was mean.
But I did expect those back.
Yeah, those were not cheap.
I loaned one book that I expected back and I've never gotten back, and it makes me sad.
Which was that?
The Kama Sutra.
No, it's
Sticky.
it's my favorite poet. And it was a book of his poems, and it's just gone. And it was a original copy, and I just can't.
Oh no!
My God.
It makes me kind of sad.
Well, the first thing I ever bought for Becky was a book of poetry by my favorite poet, Pablo Neruda, and it was in her trunk of her car like years later, never been opened, and I was
Wow! What a good significant.
No, mine
other.
was David Bottoms. He was the poet laureate for America for a while. He was also poet laureate for Georgia. He's like people get pissed when I say this, but a better Bukowski. People love Charles Bukowski. He's kind of a drunk. The end.
Yeah, I don't know who any of these people are. So yeah,
But
I'm not cultured.
hipsters love Charles Bukowski.
Oh, I'm not a hipster. I'm an asshole.
I'm just saying, like,
I
that's
know,
one of the
I
things. So, like, people get angry, but he was just a better version of that to me. But, yeah, I'll never get that book back.
It's like hipsters love the guy who.
He was a drunk and, like, a womanizer. And,
Oh.
again, he wasn't necessarily.
Catcher in the Rye guy. People love that guy, and I'm just like,
God, I always
eh.
forget what his name is. It's not F. Scott Fitzgerald.
No.
It's
No.
the other guy.
Fitzgerald.
That's the Great Gatsby.
Yeah, you're right. No. I'm always say that, and then I'm like, no, it's not.
Speaking of that, I actually did
Holden
not.
Caulfield.
Yeah.
Is Catcher in
Yeah.
the Rye.
J.D. Salinger.
Yeah, Salinger.
Yeah.
So yeah, God, yeah.
I did not like Catcher in the Rye.
No, I was talking about.
It's fine. It's not great.
Yeah, you're still talking about your poetry stuff, though. Sorry,
No, you're fine. Go.
I actually don't hate the Gatsby adaptation with Leo.
Leo.
And,
Yeah, I don't mind it either.
Well, the thing is, like the book, it's like it's not super deep. Like you get the message overall, but like the presentation of it's fucking awesome. Like
Yeah.
it's so cool. And Leo and Toby do really good jobs. I mean, everyone else is like kind of eh. But like they're fun, like and the fucking visuals that they use for like they're doing like the Roaring Twenties is really cool. I really appreciate
I
that
was in
stuff.
4th grade when I read that book, and also when I read Wuthering Heights for the first time. And the endings traumatized me because
Wuthering Heights is not one of those books you should read as a 4th grader, honey.
Neither was Cujo.
Neither is Cujo. I agree with that,
But
honey.
when-
Or Flowers in the Attic, which I read when I was in 4th
When you were
grade.
in 1st grade reading at a 12th grade level,
Yeah,
you
no, I agree.
kind of...
Yeah, they make you.
We
Yeah.
had
So-
Catcher in the Rye as one of. We had to like do a presentation on famous books, and Catcher in the Rye was like everybody's thing. I asked my
Jesus.
teacher, I was like, "Can I do Interview with a Vampire?" And she's like, "Thank you for asking for something that's not Catcher in the Rye." I'm like, "Bless."
Or A Clockwork Orange.
What
is
grade
great,
was
too.
this?
Yeah.
What school was this for? Like what age range was this for? Like,
I was in 10th grade.
Oh, okay. So Catching the Rye in fucking 4th grade.
No, I was in 10th grade. I said I read. This was all high school.
Oh, okay.
If I said Interview with the Vampire when I was in 4th
touching.
grade, I think I'd be a little confused.
So I read Treasure Island when I was in 3rd grade, and it was boring as shit. So my teacher gave me God, the shit book did she give me? I was just thinking about it.
I don't know.
Of Mice and Men, Steinbeck,
Oh, shit.
and it was really good until the very end. And I was like, I went to my dad. I was like, I think they killed him. I don't think he made it. My dad's like, yeah, that's life.
Yeah, that's the
He killed a woman
Yeah.
accidentally.
He didn't mean to, but you
But-
couldn't allow him to survive, and they were gonna murder him for
Yeah.
really real.
So here's the thing: you kill him when he doesn't know,
Yep,
with
is it-
love, or he,
Is it love or torture?
yeah, because they weren't just gonna kill him; they're probably gonna string him up.
They're gonna hurt
and-
him.
Yeah,
I would like to do a book club with everybody. We should all do a book.
we
once.
have book club on the
Ladies group, right?
Discord.
Oh.
Yeah. No. Oh, yeah. Where we pick a
And-
book.
Does no one
Honestly,
do that? Because I'm on the Discord and I haven't seen any.
No,
posts
no.
about that.
They've given book recommendations. It's book
Oh.
recommendations.
Well, let's start book club.
I'm on board with book club.
Yeah.
yeah.
Because Marco and I still read the same books, and there's somebody else who's in there. She doesn't talk.
Yeah.
But Heather, the one who texts me sometimes, she's in there, and we still read. Right now, we're reading the Outer Rim series.
I think it would be fun if we just did maybe every 3 months we just talk about a book we all read or together, like a book we read together and discuss it.
I'm down.
Like a bunch of nerds.
I would almost rather do like standalone books than series.
No, I agree
Yeah.
with that. It
so
would
that
have
we
to.
don't have to do like every month it's the same story.
No, I agree with that. Like I would think if we were to say we just like Dark Tower clearly would not be one because
No,
we've
so-
just it's been beat down at this point.
We've
But
been
like
doing that for years.
well, I was gonna say The Witch's Heart is my favorite book. Like it's a standalone one book and it's about a Norse witch.
That one you recommended to me a couple years ago about like the sewn mouth witch ghost. That was
Oh my
so
god,
That's
that book was so good. What was it called?
I don't know. I've got it in my
recommended it to Angie. You can really only read it on
Which
Nook or
one?
Kindle. It's the one oh my god, what was it called? It was the horror novel the one I kept telling you about.
The one with the ghost that has like the lips that are sewn shut.
It's the town that's
Oh, yeah, yeah.
haunted by her.
Remind me next week and I'll bring you my copy. That way you can
Yeah.
keep that.
No, it's on my Nook.
It's very good.
I can literally pull it up. It's a great book, and
It
it's
is.
It's a good horror novel. It's not
It's
horror. But
It's kind of like it's got a similar title to that Sundown Town one, like the town
yeah.
that's
I'm looking to hold on, I have to check.
is afraid of silence or something.
Yeah.
The town that feared sundown, right? Is that what you're thinking of? Yeah.
But I think this one's like the town that feared silence or something. Or
Something.
The Only Good Indians is really good. By the
that
way.
one was really good. I recommended that one to Becky.
Oh, I bought that one for you.
it's-
I read it.
It's exactly what you think.
Does it end the way I think it ends?
It absolutely does.
Trail
It
of
absolutely
Tears.
But
Hex.
it does.
It was called Hex.
Oh, that's
It does
crazy.
have an ending where the First Nation mythos kicked in, and isn't it? I'll loan it to you. You got to read this one. Like, I recommend.
We
it.
could do The Only Good Indians. It's a horror novel. It's really good, but it's like
Hex or
Hex.
The Only Good Indian?
The Only Good Indians. Both are horror novels.
Yeah, but The Only Good Indian, I think, is, to me, it was, well, I've never read Hex, but I loved The Only Good Indian. Because it didn't get supernatural-ish till, kind of towards the end, and you're like, oh, this is...
Hex is fairly grounded and minus the whole ghost thing. Besides that, it's fairly grounded with. Oh, there's a curse too, but it's it doesn't go like.
It's basically like Busy Bee neighbors and how they fuck everything up, and the witch is part of the story of this town and part of it.
Yeah.
I love horror novels in general, so I'm always down for horror.
My favorite one that we've ever read is The Girl with the Ghost Eyes.
Oh yeah, that was really
It's
good.
one of those books, it's like Dean Koontz books where they pretty much all take place in the
Thomas,
span over...
so good, so good. The
That
movie was
was
so
a-
good too.
Right, that's
Which
a good
one?
adaptation.
Thomas?
Thomas made me cry.
Yeah, because Yelchin.
It's
what's
one
his
of those
name?
that
Anton Yelkin.
Yeah, God, that man can fucking act his ass
He was
off.
really good as Odd Thomas.
Rip,
like,
Rip.
I could picture him as Odd
Yeah,
Thomas.
Rip. Poor guy.
I can't read those books, though. Odd Thomas made me so sad, the first one.
Oh, God. Yeah, it's heartbreaking.
I didn't warn Becky. I just
Oh,
wanted her
no.
I'm like, you
at
were
the
like,
end.
well, this
Oh,
is wrong. This is
God.
wrong.
And
How-
Becky comes in and she's sobbing. And I was just
Yeah,
like,
it's rough.
sorry that
I'm like,
happened.
stop giving me sad books. I don't want to read.
But it keeps going, so it's just...
Yeah, but I loved her character.
Yeah.
Like, it made me sad. Like, it just broke him.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow,
Spoiler
this is a
Llewellyn.
very spoiler-heavy episode. But I think we should...
Odd Thomas came like 15 years ago. They'll be fucking fine.
True.
Like,
There was something that recently was okay, we were talking about there's I don't know. I think you've said before you didn't like the Matrix movies.
I didn't mind them. I
First one's
just
fine.
Yeah, they were what they were.
Yeah.
I feel like the newest one should not have been a Matrix movie. It's a whole different thing.
It's a different, and that's what I like about it. Matrix 4, and spoilers, turn this off right now if you don't want to be spoiled. But so he's like trapped in the Matrix again.
Yes.
But he's trapped in the Matrix, in the Matrix, in the Matrix.
That he created.
That he created because he creates the video games and he adapted. He added the movies in his thing from
video
his
game,
video games,
yeah.
and now they want him to make Matrix 4 in his Matrix 4 that he's trapped.
into a video game.
Very, very meta. And I
Like,
like...
it really was.
And I love how it makes fun of gamers and shit. Like that whole when it's the board meeting.
Yeah.
Oh, it's so fucking.
And so-
meets the guy in the cafe. It's so fucking funny.
And he codes Morpheus
Yeah.
into the thing, and Morpheus, because he coded him, becomes real again.
Yep.
Yep.
I haven't finished it yet, so he's just been pulled out of the Matrix again. But
Better hurry up. I think it's only got like a week left on HBO.
Really? Okay, I got it. I'll go watch
Because
it.
like it's only those movies are only on there for like 30 days.
Damn. Okay, I better go finish it.
No, it was fine. It just wasn't a Matrix movie.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah. No.
the original one was awesome because of the CGI and the way they shot it was really good. The
And like the shocks you kept
Wachowski.
getting, like
Yeah, it was really
shocking.
it was really well done.
Yeah, it's like wow.
And then the latest one is more of a psychological thing than a visual
Yeah.
stunning kung fu
Right, when
bullets
he
dodging.
plugs in and he's like, I know kung fu, and Morpheus
Yeah.
is like, show me. It's like, yes, yes, queen.
So good. So good.
Yeah.
Okay. Well,
Yeah. So, Becky, you wanted to wrap it up with our favorite and our worst, right?
sure, we can.
Okay. So
I
what,
just did mine. So
what's yours?
My favorite right now is Legend of Vox Machina.
Okay.
Just because it's exactly what I would hope it to be.
Yeah.
The worst adaptation? The Last Airbender?
that's fair.
Oh,
That's garbage. Yeah, bad.
That's pretty good.
That's like,
Okay.
I was about to say,
That's
that is
good.
the worst adaptation of
Yeah.
anything I loved. And it hurt my feelings, which, funny story, Keyleth in Legend of Vox Machina, based on Last Airbender. So,
Makes sense.
just gonna
She's
say that.
adorable.
She's adorable and I love her. Anyways.
And so, Bobby, your worst was I Am Legend.
Yes.
And your favorite,
The Godfather.
The Godfather.
Because it's just better.
What's yours, Chris?
My worst is probably any live action Dragon Ball Z.
Oh, yeah.
Anything.
Yeah.
I loved the cartoons when I was a kid, and trying to watch the live action makes me want to gouge my eyeballs out
agree
with
with
a
that.
spoon.
Yeah.
My favorite is probably, it's got to be The Green Mile.
Yeah. That's
It's
fair.
done so well that it's hard to say that that's not the best one ever.
I would have to say my favorite is also The Green Mile.
That's fair.
It just really is.
Yeah, it's
the best.
insane.
To The Green Mile. The Sword of Shannara. That they
Oh, that was
So
bad.
So bad.
Oh my god, those wasn't even close
Never
to the
heard of
books. It's like the only thing that got white is she wore a white dress and he was a white
They
guy.
got white.
They got white, huh?
Yeah.
Wow.
Listen, racist.
Well, the problem is MTV produced it.
You know
Yeah.
what show is really good adapted though?
What?
Outlander.
Yeah,
Outlander's
I mean,
pretty good.
Outlander is actually really
Discovery
Yeah,
of
it was
Witches
fine.
also really good. Just gonna put
good.
it out there.
And if you like titties and a lot of sex, Outlander.
And dude rape.
Your
Well,
pussy's mine.
it was an interesting scene because he raped him to the point that he actually developed Stockholm syndrome because he was nice to him at some point.
Yes.
So he ends up giving, I wouldn't call that consent.
No.
Oh,
Because
it's
he wasn't in a position to consent.
And considering it's
It was
the
either like it can hurt again or
Or
it
it
can
won't.
feel good.
consider the 1700s. That's a real
And he-
distressing thing to have. Disconcerting.
It's just, it fucks up that character. I mean, he eventually overcomes it, but I mean, the same person raped his wife, so
oh, Jesus
they kind of
Christ.
have that in common now.
I would also like to state that I'm very happy nobody mentioned Twilight. for either favorite or least favorite.
Never read or watched a movie.
I never read the books, but when you wanted to go, don't pretend that you didn't drag me to see
I
this movie.
was in my early 20s
But I was
and
like,
knew nothing.
These movies aren't that bad. But Kristen Stewart's hot, so.
I'm a heterosexual male, so at no point should I have anything to do with Twilight.
No.
Don't at me if you're mad because you're straight and like Twilight. I don't give a shit.
When I first saw Kristen Stewart in that movie, I was like, she's gay. She's lesbian. And Becky's like, no, she's with
She a dollar bean.
And I was like, no.
She a dollar bean.
She gay.
The only thing I've seen her in that I actually liked was American Ultra.
Yes.
Oh.
And that was just because
Did you see The Runaway
Jesse
with her and
Eisenberg.
Dakota Fanning?
Unfortunately, I did.
Yeah. I was just like, this probably should have never been made.
I like the idea of The Runaways, like as a
The
movie.
Runaways was good. Yeah.
But-
I like the idea of it.
But them actually doing it, I was like, ugh, this is
But American
bad.
Ultra, that was good.
Yeah, it's mostly Jesse Eisenberg being cool, but
Yeah.
That's where they
Alright.
work at the fairground?
no, that's Adventureland.
Oh, I like that one too.
That one's
I did like that one.
actually really good too, but it also has Ryan Reynolds as just a scumbag,
Exactly.
which makes me happy as well.
Yeah.
But to be fair, like most of his roles, in like the early at that point, we're up to that point, we're like just like scumbag.
Yeah.
But, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
You know, it's also a scumbag. Bobby.
What?
Yeah.
Where they can find us too.
Yeah. Where can they find
All
my
the
scummy
places
bummies?
I have mentioned
Well,
before.
also on our Discord, we're gonna start TikTok. I'm doing that today. But come into our Discord, and I don't know how to link it. It's in our show notes. I think.
Here's how you figure out how to get to our Discord. Check this out. You go to twitch.tv/TheFreeRotation. You put ! Discord. There you go. You're done. You did it.
And you should subscribe.
And you can subscribe, comment, and subscribe to our shit.
We're going to start a TikTok, which is going to be, I assume, a conglomeration of gaming and scary
Bobby's
stuff
hair.
and all kinds of cool stuff. And,
And,
then,
and yours and Bobby's like takes from.
Yeah. I'm going to
our
do
new
fashion
series?
things on there and shit.
and we're
Yeah.
starting we're going to start our Me versus Bobby series coming up soon,
Yeah, we're a tongue fight. It's
that's not what it's going to be at all.
Oh, dude, Chris, we were playing some tonsil hockey. You get the fuck over that shit.
We just knew whenever you guys are ready, me and Angie will have our ideas ready for you guys to draft.
I will let you know either.
No, for the draft, not for the actual starting.
No, I'm letting them because we're going to do like on a day that's not a podcast day, right? Or
Yes.
Because I got to figure out my work schedule because it's gonna be wonky.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah, I get it. I'll either get my schedule for the next 2 months this Monday or on the 14th.
But we can set it up in here, stream it.
Yes, I would love to have you guys like in a me versus them, us versus them idea, and then you guys draft your thing. And
I'm gonna play footsies with Chris under the table.
exactly.
Sweet.
Okay, bye.
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 Love
Watch
you, bye.
Legend of
Bye.
Fox Market. It's really good.